So Jesus disappears at 12 and comes back at 30. This has been a subject of great debate, but the answer is quite simple, actually. What happens to a young Jewish boy at the age of 12? He becomes bar mitzvahed. He becomes a man. So Jesus becomes a man and leaves to study. He starts his ministry at 30. But why? The ancient Jewish religion has its root in Saturnalia worship, Saturn worship. That's why their day of rest is the Saturday or the Saturn day, while the Christians worship on the sun day. Okay, Saturn. Okay, it goes back to Saturnalia. People wear earrings. Okay, women used to have, men do now too, but it used to just be women. They'd wear earrings. They had to get their ears pierced because they were told the ring is Saturn and they'd have to listen to their god. Okay, their god was Saturn. Okay, men wear wedding rings because you'd have to pledge your fidelity in front of God. That's why you have the rings on everything. Saturnalia worship said that you were not allowed to become a teacher until Saturn, obviously, came back to the point it was when you were born. It just so happens that Saturn takes 30 years to come back. That's why he disappears at 12 and he comes back at 30. Now, the sun tells the hour of the day. The moon tells the day of the month. The zodiac tells the month of the year. That's a perfect calendar. For our little planet in the middle of nowhere, okay, we have a perfect celestial calendar. To me, that's a fingerprint of creation. Okay, don't get it twisted. You can believe in God and believe in astrotheology and not believe in the Bible literally and still believe in God. Moses goes up to get the 10 commandments, and when he comes down, he sees them worshiping a golden calf. So what's more likely? The Jews got run out of Egypt. They couldn't even let the bread rise, which is why we have matzah to this day. They rushed to the desert with just the clothes on their back, but happened to carry enough gold between all of them, found welding equipment in the desert, and built a giant statue of a bull. Or the sun is the gold and the calf is the bull in Taurus. They were worshiping the sun in Taurus, whereas they are the Jews who are the people of Aries. Okay, that's why the Jews blow the ram's horn to the sky. Okay, it goes back to that. It's Aries worship. Okay, they were worshiping the bull. The worst thing you could do is worship the wrong time period. Okay, that's why we have a golden bull in Wall Street in New York City. Okay, still, it's bull worship, but it's wrong. Egyptian 125. I'm sorry, chapter 125, Egyptian Book of the Dead. The declaration of innocence before the gods of the tribunal. O swallower of shades, who came forth from Kernet, I have not slain people, becomes thou shalt not kill. O doubly evil one, who came forth from the Burisite Nome, I have not had intercourse with a married woman, thou shalt not covet your neighbor's wife. O he who prospers the common people, who came forth from Asiut, I have not cursed a god, thou shalt not take the Lord's name in vain. I just used 3 here, but this is where the 10 commandments come from. If you read the Egyptian Book of the Dead, chapter 125, you'll find the 10 commandments. Okay, they were borrowed from them. So when I say initially that this book is not only is it not literal, but it's not even original, it's not. The ancient Egyptians used to worship the sun in Taurus. Hieroglyphs of the bull with the sun between its horns on the left. The Jews are the people of Aries. That's why they blow the ram's horn to the sky in the holidays. Now, Christians are the people of Pisces, which is why they have the Jesus fish, as shown below. This is why Jesus is able to feed the masses with 2 fish. The 2 fish are Pisces. John 21. So Simon Peter climbed back into the boat and dragged the net ashore. It was full of large fish, 153, but not, even with so many, the net was not torn. Okay? So now, look at the picture on the left. Okay? The Jesus fish in the middle, that's known as the Vesica Pisces. Okay? And the Vesica Pisces mathematical equation is 247 over 153. There's your 153. See, the ancients knew all this ancient stuff. They just encoded it. It was precious information. They didn't want the average person to be able to have access to this. But that's basically what it was. The ancients it was sun worship. Now, I go back to this. The ancient Egyptians were the people of Taurus. They started to fade after the age of Taurus. The Jews are the people of Aries. They start to fade after the age of Aries. The Christians are the people of Pisces. We're at the end of Pisces right now. We're in the age of Aquarius. Okay? So the Catholic Church and the Christians, those who know what's going on, who understand this, know that their time is up. And it's time for a new religion. And look, right on track. One World Religion headquarters said to open next year. Okay? Genesis 32:30. And Jacob called the name of the place Peniel, for I have seen God face to face, and my life is preserved. Well, Peniel just becomes pineal. Okay, look at the eye of Horus. Okay, and to the right of it is a sagittal cut of the human brain. If you cut a brain like this and then you open it like this, you'll see this brow ridge that you see in the eye of Horus and in the brain right here, the eyebrow. That's the corpus callosum, and the middle piece is the eye of Horus. That's known as the pineal gland. Now, in many Buddhist traditions, 49 days is the total mourning period, with prayers conducted every 7 days across 7 weeks. These Buddhists believe that rebirth takes place within 49 days after death. It just so happens that we're seeing now with modern day 3D scans that the pineal gland becomes visible after 49 days. That's when the soul enters the body. Hell is the flaming inferno. We're going to talk about hell real quick, okay? Because people might still be scared of this, but there's nothing to fear. People are talking about hell, the flaming inferno. Let me ask you a question. How do you sense pain on Earth? How do we detect pain? How do we detect pain? With our nervous system, the brain, the spinal cord, the nerve endings, the neurons, right? So when you die and you shed all of that, how are you supposed to burn if you don't have sensory? Not only that, but fire, as far as we know, is not a thing past our dimension. So they're scaring us with things from our dimension. Hell is actually winter on Earth. The idea of a fiery pit where you burn for all eternity is ridiculous when you think about it logically. Hell is actually winter on Earth. Why? It's cold, the vegetation and beautiful flowers and plants are dead. The trees shed their leaves and bear no fruit. It's freezing cold out. People tend to get sick more often. Dangerous animals, if they're not hibernating, are starving and scrounging for food. It's dangerous for humans. The Italian word for winter is inverno. Flip a letter, inferno, and pervert its meaning, and you get the concept of hell. This picture is Dante Alighieri's The Divine Comedy. Satan's in the bottom level of hell. As you can see, it's all frozen. Everything's frozen. It's frozen up to his waist in a frozen tundra because his wings are flapping so hard that it's freezing everything over. Dante knew that. In the Bible, they talk about hell being a place of gnashing teeth. Okay? A place of gnashing teeth. Well, do you? In the winter or the summer? Satan and Lucifer. Satan does not exist. He's not a red devil with a tail and a pitchfork. In fact, the earliest paintings of him in the 900s, he was actually blue. In America, we have a basketball team called the Duke Blue Devils. That's where that comes from. The Hebrew word for Satan is Hashatan, which literally translates to adversary. In proper context, two competing sports teams are Satans to one another. Lucifer, he is known as the light bringer, Genesis 1:3. And God said, let there be light. How can there be light without the light bearer? Lucifer is immediately mentioned in the Bible, if not by name, but by action and purpose. Lucifer is also known as the morning star. The morning star is also known as the planet Venus. The reason is if you go out and look at the sky just before sunrise in the east, you will see a bright light directly over it. That's Venus. It announces the arrival of God's only begotten Son, the light of the world. Lucifer is also known to have a pentagram. That's his symbol. Continuing with Lucifer as Venus, if you follow the Earth in Venus's orbit around the sun in a year's time, they almost connect at 5 points. When you connect that, you get Lucifer's pentagram. There it is. That's what it looks like. Now, this is a rudimentary phallic symbol on the left, the original penis, so to speak. It's known as the spear. Then this is the rudimentary sign of the womb, the chalice, the feminine. This is the Star of David. It's the joining of the two. It's a hermaphrodite, so to speak. There's more sex magic in the Bible than you think. This is a faithful recreation of a blueprint of King Solomon's temple. You see anything interesting about it before I break it down?
Is this symbolic of sex?
Yes.
With the penetration, I see.
Yes. view of Solomon's temple from above. It's important to note that Solomon is not a name of a person. It's a combination of three words for the sun: Sol, or sun in Latin; Om, or sun in Buddhism; On was the city of light in Heliopolis in Greece. Solomon. This was created using sex magic. Jachin and Boaz represent the testicles from this view. The porch is the base of the penis. The holy place is the shaft. The holy of holies is the head. The ark, or the hole of the penis, is where the DNA information Torah is stored. The store chambers represent the female womb, and the two entrances to them represent the fallopian tubes, where the eggs come down. This is just an overhead view of the act of sex. Now, let's go back into stories about, let's talk about other stories and how they're astrologically related. I'm just going to briefly mention a few. Samson and Delilah. Samson, the name for Samson is Shimshon in Hebrew. That literally means little son. Delilah, the root word of Delilah is Lila, which means night. Okay, what happens to Samson? He gets his hair cut. He goes blind. He loses his powers. It's a metaphorical story of the night overtaking the day. You have the same thing in Egyptian mythology when they're talking about Horus and Set. Horus takes 12 steps across the sky, and then Set chases him to the underworld. And then he has to come back in the morning every day. It's the same pattern. So Samson and Delilah is a metaphor for the sun losing its battle to the night. Jonah in the body of a whale. In Hebrew, the words are dag gadol, which translates to great giant fish. He's in it for 3 days. It's the 3 days you see recurring in the Bible over and over again because the sun walks sideways for 3 days. Daniel and the lion's den. It's a story revolving around two signs in astrology: Daniel the man, Aquarius, and the lions, which are Leo, the lion. In zodiac, they're opposing signs. Abraham and Sarah. Abraham's name was Abram before he went to slay Isaac and got stopped, and then he becomes Abraham. Abram is a combination of two words in Hebrew: father, Abba, the word Abba, and Ram, which means ram. Father Ram, father of the people of Aries, the Jews. Abram goes back to Brahma. Sarah goes back to Sarah or Saraswati. It's the Hindu influence. Lot's wife. Sodom and Gomorrah. In the ancient times, people were paid in salt. It's where we get the word salary comes from, salt. Why? Because it preserved the meat. And when you killed a cow and didn't eat it in one day, it would go bad. Salt kept it viable for longer. There was no refrigeration back then. Salt was the highest currency aside from gold and silver. So when she turned into a pile of salt, you have to think about it as she was leaving Las Vegas, gambling, hookers, debauchery, all that, and then turning into a pile of money. That's the metaphor of the story. You know, what use is it when you can't be, you know? There's a town in Israel called Megiddo, which a 3rd century church was found under another church. Basically, what happened with this church is they were praying in it, and then somebody put their foot through the floor and almost fell through. When they pulled them out and they looked under it, they found a hole that it was buried under another church. So they go down there. It's one of the oldest churches known to man. It's from the 200s. Okay. In the center of the floor is the mosaic of the two fish, Pisces. So the earliest Christians knew this. Now in 325 AD, Constantine unified everybody under literal Christianity. Okay. Before then, people in this particular church at this particular time, they were known as Helio-Gnostics. That was the name for Christians before literal Christianity. Helios means knowing in Greek, and gnosis, Helio means sun in Greek, and gnosis means knowing. Okay, they were sun worshippers. Okay? American was not founded as a Christian nation. And the day will come when the mystical generation of Jesus by the Supreme Being as his father in the womb of a virgin will be classed with the fable of the generation of Minerva in the brain of Jupiter. Thomas Jefferson in a letter to John Adams. What influence, in fact, have Christian ecclesiastical establishments had on civil society? In many instances, they have been upholding the throne of political tyranny. In no instance have they been set as the guardians of the liberties of the people. James Madison. The Christian religion is, and this is my favorite, the Christian religion is a parody on the worship of the sun, in which they put a man called Christ in the place of the sun and pay him the adoration originally paid to the sun. That's Thomas Paine. The founding fathers were in their late teens and early 20s when they wrote our country's laws. This was before central banking took over and ruined everything. The country was not founded as a Christian nation, and these 20-year-olds knew it. Modern day public education has dumbed down society, and you have people constantly saying we're founded on a Christian nation. We're not. We're not. I mean, you're in England, you know, but it's the same deal. So this is a swastika. Let's go into some more astrotheology. This is the swastika. The swastika, if you read Wikipedia, for example, talks about its origin of ancient times, from ancient religions and its peaceful meaning. Again, tweak it a little and pervert its meaning, and you get the modern day peace symbol that we never reclaimed as a peaceful symbol. But it goes further than that. The swastika isn't Buddhist or Hindu, Babylonian or Syrian or Sumerian. It's actually astrology. This is the oldest swastika that we've ever found. It's 17,000 years old, and it's from the Ukraine. What is the swastika? You take the Big Dipper on the solstices and the equinox around the northern star. Look what it does. That's why it's always been a peaceful symbol.
This is the actual origin behind the symbol.
This, yeah.
Wow.
Goes back to astrology, yeah. I mean, look at it. And they've known about it for 17,000 years at least. If you Google Saturn, you'll find that it was discovered in 1610 from Galileo, but that's bullshit. What about the ancient Saturnalia festivals? We all know that Saturn was venerated thousands of years ago. Okay, just how Julian the Apostate 1700 years ago talked about the sun being the fiery chariot that the planets danced around. Heliocentrism was earlier too. So let's go into how astrotheology rules us. Okay, when do you kill John F. Kennedy? November 22nd, the handover date from Scorpio to Sagittarius. Scorpio being the betrayer, he was betrayed and dies in Sagittarius because the sun dies in Sagittarius. Why is January 1st New Year's Day? Neil deGrasse Tyson has gone on record saying that nothing special happens on January 1st or December 31st. He's wrong, and I've tried to call him out on it. Something interesting happens. It's our new year in the world because at midnight on December 31st, if you look as high as you can into the sky, you'll see the North Star. It's actually not the North Star. It's actually Sirius. I have to change that. But it's Sirius, not the North Star, at its height. It doesn't get any higher than that. Then you follow a line straight down to Earth and then straight down to the sun. It's a perfect alignment. Otherwise, we should have a New Year's around the solstices and the equinox. Why do they always crash the stock market in Libra? October 1907, October 24th, 1929, October 19th, 1987, October 13th, 1989, October 9th, 2002. Libra is the judge, the judgment, the justice, the just one. Our lives are being judged in Libra. People above us are following the stars. Now, coincidentally, why is its cross sign Aries the largest daily point gains? It's because it's the beginning of the year. The sun is on its way up instead of down, like in Libra. So if you got a bunch of money, invest it in Aries. Don't invest it in Libra. The bull and the bear market. The bull is when the market is aggressive because it goes up. The bull ducks down and sticks its horn up to attack. That's why it's going up. The bear market is on its way down. When a bear attacks, it has its paw high and swipes down. The astrological meaning. The bull is Taurus. The sun is rising a degree a day, so it's still going up. The bear, or Ursa Major, the sun is starting to make its way down as it spans from Cancer to Leo to Virgo. Roman Catholic Catechism 2116. All forms of divination are to be rejected. Recourse to Satan or demons, conjuring up the dead, or other practices falsely supposed to unveil the future. Consulting horoscopes, astrology, there it is, palm readings, interpretation of omens and lots, the phenomena of clairvoyance, and recourse to mediums, all conceal a desire for power over time, history, and in the last analysis, other human beings, as well as a wish to conciliate hidden powers. They contradict the honor, respect, and loving fear we owe to God alone. Abu Dawood, it is suggested that the Prophet Muhammad stated, whoever seeks knowledge from the stars is seeking one of the branches of witchcraft, that of which is inherently forbidden in Islam. Why is astrology specifically banned from Catholicism and Islam? Now, I don't know, are you familiar with American pop culture at all?
A little bit.
All right, let me show you a few. Have you heard of the Phoenix Suns, the basketball team?
Yeah, the basketball, yeah.
The Phoenix is the story of Christ the Son, a flaming form of life that dies and rises from his ashes. Jesus was the Son who died for 3 days and came back to life. So Phoenix is the Sun. The Sun is the Sun. This is just a mention of Jesus. Now, what about the Phoenix women's team? The Phoenix Mercury. Mercury is the ruling planet of Virgo, the only woman sign. So how else are things encoded in everyday entertainment? The movie Face Off. You ever see this?
Yeah, I know where you're going with this one. This one I'm looking forward to.
1990s movie Face Off starring Nicolas Cage and John Travolta. What are their characters' names? Nicolas Cage's character is Castor Troy and his brother is Pollux Troy. That's just Gemini. What about Travolta? His name is Sean Archer. Well, Archer is Sagittarius, the man with the bow and the arrow. Sagittarius and Gemini are opposing signs. There's the pattern again. Algol, also known as the Demon Star, has a long history of evil attached to it. In Batman Begins, the evil character's name is literally Ra's al Ghul, who gets his name from Algol. It's the evil star. 1990s song video for the Cranberries' Zombie. Here, everybody's heard Zombie. Everybody's heard Zombie. Okay? She's painted gold, and her head dressing represents the rays of the sun. How do I know this? What is the very next scene? Here we see the golden sun on the cross, and look, the hunters with the bow and the arrow, where the sun is killed in Sagittarius. It's the sun, the golden sun, on the cross with the little Sagittarius. Now, I grabbed a screenshot from the internet, but I didn't actually look at the video until a little bit later. When you go on the video, they're actually aiming it at her right before they do this. Okay? Okay, Katy Perry's Dark Horse video. Here we see the Eye of Horus symbolism, the Illuminati symbolism. Modern day things revolving around astrology. Mermaids, a combination, well, not modern day, but yeah, a combination of the man sign Aquarius, or the woman sign Virgo, and the fish sign Pisces. Aquarius and Pisces are connecting signs. Pisces and Virgo are opposing signs. Bullfighting, bull riding. Aquarius the man and Taurus the bull. Jousting, 2 times Sagittarius. Lion taming. Aquarius the man and Leo the lion, those are opposing signs. Fishing, Aquarius the man and Pisces the fish, those are connecting signs. Virgo the woman and Pisces the fish, they are opposing signs. Interesting. Interesting that as above, so below. We don't need to do that. Homosexuality in the Bible. Everyone knows about Leviticus 18:22. However, is it really what is sent there? The Greek word arsenokotai shows up in 2 different versions of the Bible in Greek, but was not translated to mean homosexual until 1946. In 1800s, the German Bible said, man shall not lie with young boys as he does with a woman, for it is an abomination. Leviticus 18:22, same with Leviticus 20:13, young boys. 1 Corinthians, the word arsenokotai, and it's important to mention that the Bible was written in Hebrew, but everyone at the time knew that if you were an intellect, you wrote and read in Greek. So 1 Corinthians becomes boy molesters will not inherit the kingdom of God. If you were to grab Martin Luther's original German translation from 1534, they use the word Nabenschänder. Naben is a boy, Schänder is molester. The first time homosexual appears in German translation is 1983. That's my presentation, my friend. These are the books that I've also decoded. Okay, so these are the books I've decoded. Books decoded and books not biblically related. The not biblically related books below, it's the same thing with astrotheology. Now, I wanted to give you one thing too, just to show you, just to tease the Quran a little bit. They're always talking about 72 virgins. There's always 72 virgins that they all die for. There's a star called 70 Virginis, which borders Virgo. That's the 70. There's one virgin, which is Virgo, plus the virgin that you marry on earth for your family. That's 72. Those are your 72 virgins. It's all astrology. And they all think that they're going to go to heaven and have orgies. So I have a book series, as I've mentioned. These are some of the topics that I talk about in them. Okay, they go deeper into astrotheology, into the hidden history of the Bible, of basically decoding things, of things of that nature. These are just some of the characteristics. This is my book, first book, Into the Rabbit Hole Beneath the Veil. This is my email address, into the rabbit hole series @gmail.com. People can reach out to me if they want to get signed copies of my book series. That's what I do. I'm more than welcome to do that. They're more than welcome to do that. And yeah, I'll sign them, and then I'll send them. I do ship a lot to England, Canada, up until recently, Australia, Japan. I just sent one out, Norway. So that's just basically it. And I like to say this. My point, once again, is not that those ancient people told literal stories and we are now smart enough to take them symbolically, but that they told them symbolically and we are now dumb enough to take them literally. And that's the unfortunate truth. That's basically what it is. So someone sent me this and I loved it. Oh, okay, so essentially the Bible is just a big farmer's almanac, survival guide, verbal astrological map that reads like a compilation of Grimm's fairy tales. Basically giving the rundown of the season from start to finish and over again, with the final reward being open chakras and enlightenment.